Th- Thank you. Good morning. Then, please down. Thank you. Secretary Cotpitilla, Governor Vilma Santos Recto, Tito Oscar Lopez, Mr. Piqui Lopez, Mr. Francis Puno, Mayor Eddie Dimacuja, former Secretary Peter Garucho, officials, employees, and partners of the First Gen Corporation, fellow workers in government, honored guests, mga minamahal ko pong kababayan, magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. Today, we mark another milestone of our path to development. We are breaking ground for what will soon be a major natural gas plant in the country, one that will help ensure not only a steady supply of energy for us, but also make more efficient use of fossil fuels, the San Gabriel Power Plant. I extend my gratitude to First Gen Corporation for their faith in our country and in our economy, which they have expressed not merely in words, but in investments, and I'm told to the tune of 28.48 billion pesos. This is on top of the amount they have already invested in other plants in the country. This plant will be crucial to our country's fortunes. By 2016, we expect that the Luzon grid's energy demand will have risen to around 11,000 megawatts from the present demand of 10,294 megawatts. We know that one cannot simply walk into a store and order an extra 1,000 megawatts of power. Power plants, after all, take 2 to 3 years to build. This is why, from the onset, we have been working to lay down the groundwork for new plants to be put up. We treated the interest of our bosses, the Filipino people, as the North Star of our policy-making processes. We did this because we know stability and good governance breed confidence among investors, and that both of them can keep the dynamo of progress engaged in full throttle. Perhaps this audience, more than any other, will recognize that our efforts have borne fruit. From this year to 2016, various companies are set to build new plants in Luzon. This will redound to a total of 2,412 megawatts in generation capacity. The 414 megawatts that will be produced from Phase 2 of this facility will add to that. Visayas and Mindanao as well are benefiting from the renewed optimism of investors, and I'm happy to report that we are set to meet increasing demand in both regions in the coming years. Of course, the goal is not simply to meet demand, but to surpass it. We intend to have a safe surplus of generating capacity. The effect of Typhoon Yolanda on our generation capacity in Visayas should serve as a lesson. Yolanda most prominently impaired major geothermal power plants in Leyte. The combined generation capacity of the plants went from 482 megawatts to 0, which resulted in a power deficit in the region. This had a ripple effect, which hampered recovery efforts. Many of our affected countrymen were unable to communicate with their loved ones away from home. Hospitals struggled to run. After the storm, the lack of electricity crippled the productivity of affected communities. In fact, many of our countrymen would still be suffering the effects of a power shortage had it not been for the remarkable work of Energy Secretary Cotpitilla and the industry players and other stakeholders who stayed up long nights to ensure that power was stored in all affected areas at the soonest possible time. Our takeaway from the situation: with the worsening effects of climate change, we must take even greater measures to adapt, and this in large part includes reinforcing our supply of power. The situation also calls on us to reassess the sources of our power and their effects on the environment. In the coming years, we will make a concerted effort to use more efficient forms of energy generation, and natural gas will play a starring role in this. Natural gas plants emit only half as much carbon compared to coal-powered plants. This means cleaner energy. It means that despite our status as a less industrialized nation, we are doing our part to not exacerbate the risks posed by climate change. Furthermore, the presence of yet another natural gas plant here will help convince those in regasification to finally set up shop in the Philippines. And we are hopeful that this will happen sooner rather than later. After all, natural gas demand is growing. We expect that from now to 2013, its share in our total primary energy supply will go from 8% to 14%. This is a major step in fulfilling our obligation as a country towards our goal, as one human race, to limit climate risk. This plant also bodes well for our country's continued growth. Our economy hinges on having adequate power. After all, it is growing at a rapid pace and we want to sustain this. Businesses are continually seeing the Philippines as an ideal investment destination, and we must continue doing our utmost to be able to tell investors, if you decide to set up shop in the Philippines, an adequate energy supply for your factories and facilities will be as low as possible on your list of things to worry about. Already, our reforms have sparked a virtuous cycle in the Philippines. Our insistence on good governance has allowed us to attract businesses which create jobs. Those jobs increase our people's spending capacity, which in turn encourages companies to increase production, thereby prompting them to hire even more workers, and so on. Having adequate energy infrastructure makes it easier for businesses here to stay and expand, and for new businesses to decide to invest heavily in the Philippines. And companies such as yours, who have chosen to walk alongside us in the straight path, are vital cogs in our effort to complete the drastic turnaround of our country. Our plan to guarantee sufficient energy for our country may just be a single item in the catalog of things to be done in the grand and collective task of nation building, but they are symbols of our country's impending success. Projects such as this, after all, do not merely help bring power into our homes and workplaces. They empower the Filipino people as well. They will help convince investors to bet on the skills of our people. They will help us bring electricity to far-flung barangays so that families can enjoy the comforts brought about by electricity, and so that children will no longer need to light up candles just to do their homework after the sun goes down. These projects have the capacity to serve as true beacons of hope for every Filipino. They deserve to be executed well, and I'm confident that with you on board, our collective responsibilities will be met and our collective aspirations achieved. Thank you and good day.